Tonight, Laura Lee Davies is officially sworn in as Regina Police Chief. Saskatchewan sees a decrease in overdose deaths last year, and a call for blood donations across Canada.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Regina Police are asking for the public's help as part of the investigation into the city's first homicide of the year. In the early morning hours of January 19th, officers attempted a traffic stop near Sass Drive on Albert Street. The vehicle fled and was spotted a short time later with no occupants present. A body was discovered in the vehicle. Police identified the victim as 56-year-old Michael Norman Ross. Now, court documents show that his body was stuffed inside a hockey bag before being put into the trunk of a car. The investigation also led officers to the 3700 block of Dutney Avenue, which is what you see there. Police are asking anyone who had contact with Ross in the weeks leading up to his event to contact them. So far, 2 people have been charged. Neither of them are facing murder or manslaughter charges. The man accused of murdering Curtis Gilman Barassa made a court appearance today in Yorkton. Barassa was found dead on Yorkton's Victoria Avenue last October. The RCMP had begun their investigation on October 8th and charged a 51-year-old man from Yorkton with second-degree murder. The accused, Henry Rain Chartrand, appeared through video at the Yorkton Provincial Court this morning. His case was set for a preliminary hearing at the Court of King's Bench in Yorkton on February the 5th. A man charged with child exploitation-related offenses had his first day in court. Bonachi Suzura Anuka was charged earlier this month with access to child sexual abuse and exploitation material and extortion. Now, it stems back to June of 2025 when Anuka posed as a teenage female and convinced a 15-year-old male victim to send a nude photo of himself. Anuka then extorted the victim for money. He is scheduled to speak in provincial court on February 18th. Overdose deaths in Saskatchewan are on track to see a reduction that could put them as low as they've seen since the height of the pandemic. But as Keenan Sorkon tells us, while fatalities have dropped, the dangers have not.
Saskatchewan is on track to see its lowest number of drug overdose-related deaths since 2020. Data from the coroner's service shows 331 overdose deaths last year. Some may be removed as investigations continue, but if it stays the same, it will be the lowest number of deaths since numbers spiked 6 years ago.
We're working very, very hard to eliminate toxic drugs and illicit drugs.
There were 109 fewer deaths in 2024 compared to the previous year and 15 fewer last year, with Regina and Saskatoon accounting for a majority of them. And McBride attributes that decline to public awareness and naloxone.
That public awareness of what's happening is leading to a decreasing number of deaths.
The province invested heavily in take-home naloxone kits last year, with a record number of units sent across the province. In the province's 2 largest cities, drug overdose calls were comparable over 2023 and 2024, but 2025 was a different story, with Regina falling below 1,000 overdose calls, while Saskatoon saw more than double, with over 2,500 calls, more than 200 per month and nearly 7 every 24 hours.
It just seems like an endless supply continues to flow in.
Just last month, the coroner's office reported a surge in fatal overdoses, with 28 people dead from suspected overdose compared to 18 in December 2024, as police services continue to seize more drugs.
Sometimes those investigations just take time, so I don't think that the amount of charges reflects the work that's happening in the community.
A drug alert issued for Saskatoon on Wednesday afternoon came just hours after a similar warning of an increased risk of drug overdose in the Punachai area, as toxic drugs remain a focus of both police services and fire departments across Saskatchewan. Keenan Sorkon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan gun shop owners say they are stuck in limbo because of the latest federal firearms buyback program. More than 2,500 models have been impacted since the program began in 2020. Retailers have been promised compensation, but it could be months before they see the payback. Wayne Mantika has more.
At Regina Cash Tactical, $50,000 in inventory has been pulled off the shelves because of the latest federal buyback program.
any of the guns that did make the list had to be pulled off of our shelves right away. They're sitting in the back. We've paid for them, and we now can't sell them.
Gun owners have until March 31st to declare their intention to turn in banned guns and receive compensation. There are limits, and it's first come, first served. A program for retailers could come by fall.
There is a lot of uncertainty. They've also capped the compensation at $11 million, and there is far more than $11 million in inventory across the country. So they are trying to throw a little bit there to pretend like they're giving compensation, but realistically it's going to be confiscation without compensation.
Saskatchewan and Alberta have said that the provinces won't enforce or participate in the program. That places compensation from Ottawa in question and could result in financial losses for owners participating in the Firearms buyback program. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Time for our first look at weather. Connor Chan joins us in the Weather Center. And nice day in Regina, but you can't say the same for all across Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Lee, it was pretty calm around Regina, but down south, of course, we did see snow in areas like Moose Jaw and Swift Current. We saw snow up north as well, but with some warmer temperatures kind of on the way. Things are kind of on the horizon, but Saturday is going to be a bit of a different question. Now, as we look at the almanac comparing to what we are normally for this time of year compared to last year as well, we're sitting around that minus 10 average. So we're kind of on point right now. Last year, of course, it's always nice to see that this time in January, we're always in the positive temperatures. Now, as I mentioned, we did see some snow activity throughout the day in north and south parts of Saskatchewan. Mostly some cloud coverage for us here in Regina. As looking at the temperatures going into tonight with the wind chill, it's not too bad. It will be pretty decent. So this is what it will look like with the wind chill. So not too extreme compared to what we saw in the past there, but I'll have more details of the full forecast coming up later on. Lee?
All right, thank you, Connor. Well, the new chief of Regina's police service is officially sworn in today. Laura Lee Davies will be serving as chief after filling the interim role since April 2025. Sierra D'Souza Butch joins us now live from the Connexus Arts Center as the celebration continues. Sierra.
Thanks, Lee. As mentioned, Chief Davies has been filling in the role for months now. As you can see, there are hundreds of people in attendance. Chief Davies is right behind me saying hi to several guests, including Evan Bray, who joined the police service around the same time as Davies and has seen her progress throughout her 29-year career. During her time with the police service, Davies has worked in both uniform and investigative divisions, along with developing the service's Truth and Reconciliation strategy, where she has spent many years with the Regina Police Association. Her appointment marks the first time in Saskatchewan a woman has been named to the role of chief or a major city's police service. She has also served as the interim chief twice, including since April 2025, following the suspension and eventual termination of former Chief Farouk Sheikh. When the city of Regina first announced Davies' appointment last month, Chad Mayor Bashinsky says she was the obvious choice, saying, quote, Chief Davies' credentials speak for themselves in the desire to create stability for an organization, to draw on experience and on the trust from the community. Davies' names came out over and over again. Davies says she is excited and thankful for being entrusted with the leadership of the police service.
So I'm here today, having had the fortune of being surrounded by many great people throughout my life. And I had the pleasure of hearing retired General and former Chief of Defense Staff Rick Hillier speak last week. An amazing speaker, and he said many impactful things, including, there should be no I at the top, only we. And that really landed, as there have been many people involved leading to today. I've been privileged to start from a foundation of loving parents and a family who provided me with the most amazing opportunities to try new things, to grow, and to learn. From the youngest age, my parents and grandparents modeled community engagement as an essential part of life. Commitment to community is part of my DNA.
As you could see, it was quite an emotional day for Chief Davies as well as the people close with her. She's there again saying hi to everyone. She did say the main priority kind of moving forward is engaging with the community as well as prioritizing the safety of residents in Regina. Back to you, Lee.
All right, thank you, Sierra. That's Sierra D'Souza Butts reporting live for us tonight. And more police officers will be hitting Saskatoon streets.
These officers will address real challenges like violent crime, drug activity, and other social disorder concerns.
14 officers have been hired in Saskatoon, with another then in training. The recruitment and retention of these cops is $1.85 million funding through a provincial program. Saskatoon Police says nearly 40% of last year's 108,000 calls involved social disorder, driving the need for more patrols in the city. The wildfire season is still months away, but the work to fight it has already begun. As CTV's Stacey Hine tells us, maintenance crews at the Provincial Air Base in La Ronge are preparing firefighting planes for the season ahead.
Months before the first summer wildfire breaks out, while snow still covers water bombers. Crews at the Provincial Air Base in La Ronge are already preparing for the season ahead.
Our intention through the winter time is to try and get as much done on the aeroplane as we can so that we don't have any major maintenance activities during the fire season.
Inside the maintenance hangar, crews climb onto water bombers nearly 30 feet tall, inspecting and repairing planes that will soon be flying dangerous missions.
Airlines, they're lucky. Their critical phase of flight is a takeoff and landing. For us, we're forever in the critical phase because we're flying low and fast to the ground. We've got reduced visibility.
It's a risky reality pilots faced repeatedly last year, the second worst wildfire season in Canadian history. More than 6,000 fires burned across the country, including about 500 in Saskatchewan. Early in the season, the Pisu fire destroyed the communications building at the La Ronge Airport, a key northern air tanker base. Planes were moved as the building burned, and operations complicated by lost records, equipment, and concerns for the community.
The town has been evacuated, so they're worrying about their families. A lot of the maintenance team and other team were actually living in the hangar here for a couple of days because they couldn't be at home.
Despite the disruption, missions resumed the next day. A global shortage of pilots and maintenance workers was another challenge. At one point, staffing levels were down about 30% due to illness and vacancies. Looking ahead, the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says it's improving airspace control, contracting additional maintenance teams, and adding more simulator training.
That'll reduce the number of training hours we do on the aeroplanes. The aeroplanes should be available sooner and with less flying hours on them.
After last season's challenges, Boniface says the focus this winter is on preparation, making sure crews are ready when wildfire season returns. Stacey Hine, CTV News, La Ronge.
The Canadian Blood Services released a public service announcement yesterday urging the public to donate blood across the country. Damien Smith stopped by Regina's CBS location to see if people are rolling up their sleeves.
Canadian Blood Services is calling for more donors across the country. From January 21st to the 27th, the prairies in eastern Canada had 16 donation events and over 1,500 units canceled because of harsh weather, meaning there's less blood for those who need it.
Somebody who's undergoing cancer treatments or leukemia or has been in a tragic accident or a life-changing emergency, often is the case that what they are going through is not voluntary.
On Thursday, Regina's location was quieter than usual, but donors like Sarah Dunn were there to put in their time.
They're very kind about it. They're not just like jab you and try and hurt you. It's very quick and easy, and like my bleed time was less than 5 minutes today.
The blood pump typically takes a total of 8 minutes, and donors are usually in and out of the door in less than an hour.
Once I did it, it was actually awesome. I felt really good. It's a really good thing to do. I have O positive blood, so it's pretty universal, which is awesome.
Carlo Palazzo, who has an appointment scheduled next week, has donated blood 57 times since 2008. He first donated when he worked for the CBS.
I never donated blood before, and of course that question came up during the interview, and I did say, honestly, I'm like, if I do get this position, I will start donating blood.
In the past 3 years, he's also made a family event rounding up his siblings for the cause.
Really got to see the importance and the stories that I became aware of. It really put in the focus on how important donating blood is, and I took it to heart.
By 2030, CBS is calling for 1 million new donors, and demand for products derived from plasma are anticipated to rise by 50%.
An hour can make a life-saving difference to a patient in need. And again, for somebody who's undergoing these things, their course of treatment is not voluntary.
Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Style of rug making once popularly used by the Métis in Saskatchewan. Now, a Métis artist and the Royal Saskatchewan Museum are beginning a one-year project to create a rug in that style thought to have originated during the fur trade era. The technique uses repurposed cloth and a burlap canvas to create floor coverings. The final product has been already outlined and will feature a popular Saskatchewan landscape.
I think that's what I'm working towards. The valley where I grew up in, the Coquille Valley, and so my inspiration for my other rugs also come from there, and that's where I developed the designs. It took a while to come to that, because when you're thinking of what particular thing do we want to cover here or feature for everybody.
Harrison was taught the rug making technique by her mother and has shared it with others through the classes. After the break, trying to stay united after Trump officials meet with supporters of Alberta separation. Plus, a look at how much grocery prices are impacting your budget. At the Premier meetings in Ottawa, BC Premier David Eby spoke out today on Alberta's separatist movement, referring specifically to a reported meeting between members of the group and White House officials, calling their actions treason. As Abigail Bimman reports, the focus today was on unity.
Our country is more united, ambitious, and determined than it has been in decades.
All premiers and the Prime Minister around the table in Ottawa, but that message of unity is infringed on by a Financial Times report. The Alberta separatism movement has been meeting the Trump administration and is seeking $500 billion in credit in the event of a successful referendum.
To go to a foreign country and to ask for assistance in breaking up Canada, there's an old-fashioned word for that, and that word is treason.
It's ludicrous, right? I mean, we're there on a fact-finding basis. If there's nothing treasonous about it.
The group says it did meet with U.S. officials, but is only doing a feasibility study
to determine whether that facility would be available on a going forward basis, and whether it's with U.S. Treasury or Goldman Sachs or J.P. Morgan through a bond issue.
The U.S. State Department said it regularly meets with civil society types and no commitments were made. A similar response from the White House, which tells CTV News no support or commitments were conveyed. The U.S. Secretary of the Treasury has weighed in on separatism before.
Alberta is a natural partner for the U.S.
I would expect that the U.S. administration would respect Canadian sovereignty and that they would confine their discussion about Alberta's democratic process to Albertans and to Canadians. And I will raise that with my delegate in Washington.
At the closing press conference, the Prime Minister would not answer whether he felt there was foreign interference from the United States.
I expect the U.S. administration to respect Canadian sovereignty. I'm always clear in my conversation with President Trump to that effect, and then move on to what we can do together.
While Canada faces separation speculation further east too, with the rise in popularity of Quebec's Parti Québécois.
He's going to call a referendum. If he, God forbid, he gets elected, I mark my words, within a year and a half, he'll be calling a referendum to separate from Canada. Unacceptable.
As for the substance of the meetings, a big focus was the upcoming review of the North American Free Trade Deal. The Prime Minister said he and the premiers agreed to meet monthly once that review is underway. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, these days, paying for groceries is still the #1 expense draining the pocketbooks of Canadians. New Nanos polling out today shows that just how affordability is really taking a toll because of groceries. CTV's Alex Carpa has the stats and the impact it's also having on spending habits.
Hard to make decisions.
A trip to the grocery store is not an easy one for Ben Nye.
It's really expensive here.
Soaring prices at checkout are forcing him to carefully consider what meals he can afford to make.
That's not bad. $4.99.
Being currently unemployed and searching for work has made it a struggle to pay the bills.
As a consumer, we're being hit hard, and it's being difficult for us to actually be able to afford anything anymore.
Nye has even resorted to selling many of his things just to cover costs.
It's difficult trying to make ends meet.
Like Ben, many are feeling the impacts of rising grocery prices. A new survey finds that the biggest concerns around costs for Canadians is right here at the grocery store.
A new Nanos research poll for CTV News finds grocery prices worry Canadians more than housing costs as inflation continues to rise. More than half of Canadians say groceries are top of mind when looking to save money this year, followed by housing at almost 25% and healthcare at nearly 10%.
It speaks to the pressure that Canadians are under and how groceries are at the top of the list, significantly ahead of things like housing and healthcare and fuel and entertainment, all those things.
But experts warn that relief may not come anytime soon.
The story on tariffs are going to continue as we're trying to renew CUMSO with a very unfortunate negotiating opponent in the United States. Could be looking at, a bad year next year as well.
Let's try this.
As prices continue to climb with no end in sight, Nye says he will do whatever it takes just to stay afloat. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
People in Quebec and across the country are commemorating a somber anniversary, the deadly attack on a mosque in the provincial capital exactly 9 years ago. 6 men were killed in the evening attack at the Islamic Cultural Center of Quebec City in 2017. 19 other people were seriously injured. A vigil got underway in Montreal late this afternoon. The event is part of Muslim Awareness Week, an initiative created in the aftermath of the attack. Ontario's premier says, "Let today be a reminder that we must stand together against hate and discrimination."
We remember the 6 people who were killed in the horrific attack at the Quebec City Mosque, and we stand with their families, loved ones, and Ontario's Muslim community against Islamophobia. Hate, violence, and discrimination have no place in our province.
The lone gunman pleaded guilty to murder and attempted murder charges and was sentenced to life in prison. He is not eligible for parole for 25 years. A Canadian mining company says 10 workers have been abducted from one of its sites in western Mexico. The Vancouver-based firm Vizsla Silver says information remains limited and an investigation has begun. Local authorities have also been notified. A Vizsla spokesperson declined to say whether any of the kidnapped employees are Canadian. Their abduction was originally reported to Mexican authorities on Saturday. Local media reported the abductees were taken by armed men from staff accommodations in the city of Concordia the day before that. Coming up, we introduce you to Saskatchewan's newest millionaire, the winner of the 649 Gold Ball jackpot.
It's Red Tape Reduction Week. Friday on Your Morning, while the Canadian Federation of Independent Business is focusing on agriculture and how they could help you.
All right, that's quite the party that they got going up there in our control rooms here at CTV Regina. But now it's time to take a look here at your full forecast. Now, as I mentioned earlier, things are going to get a little bit better temperature-wise. We could see some other things some other people aren't too fond of here in the province, and that, of course, is snow. And, of course, as we take, we'll get to that in just a bit here. But currently right now sitting at 11 degrees with the winds also kind of picking up a little bit. They're at 22 kilometers an hour. So, as I mentioned, pretty decent day for the most part. We did see some snow up north and also south. And as you can see on the radar map, a little bit of cloud coverage kind of making its way through Regina a little bit this evening. But this is where the fun is really going to get started here. I guess, well, fun depends on how you look at it here. So by the time we get to around 11 o'clock Friday, we'll start to see some freezing rain and snow mixes. So we could see a little bit of ice pellets and beginning to reach us here in Regina. We'll also see that as well in parts of Lloydminster, seeing some of that freezing rain come into the province. And then, of course, as you see here by 3:30 Saturday, a whole lot of Saskatchewan is covered in green, pink, and purple here with some snow and the freezing rain mix. So Saskatoon will see a little bit more rain than us, but for the most part, Regina will see some snowfall expected there, some scattered flurries. Wynyard also seeing some pockets of snow as well, and then areas like Yorkton and Estevan are also going to see a decent amount of snowfall as well. And then by the time we get to early Saturday morning, that's when the rain is going to start to, the normal rain rather, that's going to start to come and hit us here in the central parts. And also we'll see some stuff also in the Swift Current and Maple Creek areas as well. And of course, well, that's always fun to see. Then by the time we get to Saturday at 3:30, things should kind of calm down a little bit, and then we'll see maybe hints of it going into Sunday. And by 7:30, we'll see things calming down with some cloud coverage. Now, as we look at the snowfall totals for the next couple of hours or so, we are going to see things mostly up north get the majority of it there for Friday. Then going into Saturday morning, we won't see anything yet. The Meadow Lake seeing 4 centimeters, Buffalo Narrows seeing 5, Weyburn sitting at 3, and then for us here, we'll just about get 1 centimeter by 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. And then Saskatoon will also see 1 centimeter. Of course, Moose Jaw did see a bit of snow today along with parts of Swift Current, so they got most of their bulk today. But even though it looked like a lot on the radar tracker, it is only 1 centimeter expected, so not too bad. We'll also see about 8 centimeters in the Yorkton area. Now, as we look ahead to the forecast, as we go for some temperatures overnight tonight, things are kind of, like I said, going back to normal, which is a welcome sign, of course, compared to last week where we got that extreme cold. So LaRonge sitting at -7 for tomorrow's the daytime high with some cloud coverage. We'll also still see some snow for tonight. Loche also seeing snow at -10 overnight, going to -4 tomorrow. Lloydminster sitting at -4 tomorrow, and then -8 in Prince Albert. As we look to Saskatoon, -4 will be the daytime high for tomorrow, -16 in Yorkton, and then as we get to North Battleford, -4. And as we look down a little further south, Maple Creek sitting at 4 degrees, nice and warm day there, -2 in Swift Current with mostly sunny skies and a few clouds. And then Moose Jaw, we will see temperatures being around that -7. And of course, Weyburn sitting at -12 for tomorrow along with Estevan, so not too bad there. And as we look at Sitaboya, also seeing that at -6. And for us here in Regina, -18 overnight. We could see wind chills kind of feeling a little bit in that -20 to closer to -30 range. And -10 is our expected daytime high for tomorrow. So as I mentioned, some snow expected there for Saturday with that high of 1 degree, -5 for Sunday, -2. Could see a little bit more snow in the afternoon parts of Monday. And as we get to Tuesday, things are beginning to warm up a little bit back to 0 again, as we'll see more sun in the forecast. Looking at Wednesday, some cloud coverage coming back there at -1 and -3. We'll see that for Thursday. So overall, not too bad, Lee, as we are going to start to see things get a little bit better, but of course we have to go through Saturday before things kind of ease up a little bit.
Ease up a little bit. Yeah, we'll get rid of that snow. Hopefully things won't be too bad around town and around the province. So
yeah.
We'll see. All right, thanks, Connor.
Thanks, Lee.
Well, since being announced a few weeks ago, it's a question maybe a lot of us have been asking. Who won the $18 million Lotto 649 Gold Ball jackpot? Well, today we found out. Jacob Carr introduces us to Saskatchewan's newest millionaire.
Cora Cuthbert's life changed on January 7th, the day she discovered she was $18 million richer. Her first reaction, disbelief.
Looking at that screen and I'm thinking, this better not be a glitch on my phone. She scans it and all three of us just starts, screaming. We were so excited and everything.
Cuthbert from Pheasant Rump Nakota First Nation discovered the win after scanning her ticket in the Lotto Spot app, then verifying it at a nearby pharmacy in Arcola. She says the first thing the money will be used for is a trip with her brothers and sisters to Edmonton, followed by a first-class trip to Hawaii.
Just very, very joyful for her because she's helped our parents so long for so much, and then with us losing our dad, it took a really hard hit on her.
Cora lost her father in June of 2025. She says he was the reason she regularly bought lotto tickets. She has received several texts from friends and family after learning of her win, saying it was her father, making sure she was being looked after. Cora says she also plans on using her winnings to ensure people have better access to support and medical care on her reserve, something that comes as no surprise to her son, Tom.
Giving out to homeless people, because we like to think about things like that. Family first and people, because you can't replace people. People matter more than money.
Cora says she and Tom are looking into a trip to Scotland because that is part of her father's ancestral background, and the winnings have allowed her to officially retire from her job as a home care aide on her reserve.
Actually, I just retired yesterday.
Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, hometown hero Connor Howe hopes to bring a WHL championship back to Prince Albert. In Prince Albert, the Raiders are starting to become the talk of the town. They're ranked first in the WHL, first in the country, and are riding an 8-game winning streak. As Jabin Pelche reports, it's got one of their local players excited.
16-year-old center Connor Howe is playing his first WHL season with the team he grew up watching. A Prince Albert local, he says he was speechless when he first found out he'd be joining the Raiders.
The Prince Albert Raiders were my favorite team growing up, and getting the chance to play for them it's a dream come true for sure.
And his skill is paying off. Howe is a big reason why the team extended its winning streak to 8 games on Tuesday, scoring the deciding goal against the Moose Jaw Warriors.
There's always talks that we're going to be really good this year, and to see that we are doing really good, it's definitely a really good feeling just being able to win, and it's awesome. We have a really good group of guys.
Raiders left winger Brandon Gorzinski was just named WHL Player of the Week. The Dallas Stars draft pick says consistency is keeping Prince Albert's team at the top.
We're not doing anything crazy. It's all just the same thing every day and hard work, and we have a plan in what we're doing, and we execute it every night.
Season tickets were at record highs from the beginning, and walk-up ticket sales have only gone up as the Raiders have gained momentum. They are currently ranked first in the country, and the team says jerseys have been flying off the shelves.
You see people wearing the Raiders stuff, honking the horns, waving at you. We were out at a school this morning, and the kids lining up to high-five and get autographs.
The Raiders will face long-standing rival Saskatoon Blades at home this Saturday.
Their offensive ability is really good, and I think we just got to be good in the D-zone. I think we'll be good.
Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Meanwhile, in the SJHL, the league-leading Flin Flon Bombers had their 11-game winning streak snapped last night by the Weyburn Red Wings.
Steps in, he shoots, save, rebound, still loose, up in the air, they score!
Former Regina Pat Ryland Pierce scoring his first as a Red Wing in overtime as Weyburn wins 3-2. Weyburn moves into a tie for second in the league with the Battlefords, although the North Stars have 2 games in hand. Their rivals Estevan, they lost to Yorkton last night 4-1. That keeps the Bruins behind the Terriers for 5th place. At the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, Jolene Campbell and Team Saskatchewan have been eliminated after finishing the round robin with a record of 3-5. As for the playoffs, well, advancing out of Pool B will be Beth Peterson of Manitoba, Christina Black of Nova Scotia, and Selena Sturmey of Alberta, who scored a 7-ender this morning versus New Brunswick. Caitlin Laws, Carrie Einarson, who's Team Canada, and Taylor Stevens, also of Nova Scotia, will move on from Pool A. Playoffs start tomorrow at noon Saskatchewan time. Still ahead, why 2 Saskatoon police officers are headed to London, England.
All right, time to take a look now at your rural forecast. And as you can see here, nice warmer temperatures, just some cloud coverage out further west. So Spiritwood at -7, -4 in Lloydminster, and Outlook in Meadow Lake, -11 in Melfort, and as well as in Wynyard, and -12 in Hudson Bay. And also some sun at -4 in Watchers for tomorrow. Looking at down further south, Assiniboia sitting at -6, -10 in Lumsden, and then also -16 in Kenora, -14 in Broadview, and then warmer temperatures, especially in Maple Creek at 4 degrees and Leader at 1. Now taking a look at Raymore, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel. -12 is the daytime high tomorrow. So of course things are getting a little bit better, and of course we'll still see some of that wind stick around rather for the most part of the week here. But mostly with that wind chill, it is going to feel a little bit closer to -21. Now of course there is a bunch of snow and cloud coverage as expected for most parts of the province heading into the weekend, but for the most part things are on the up and end.
Road construction usually happens in the warmer months of the year, while the colder months are set aside for bridge construction. Today, the government of Saskatchewan announced $78 million of construction work is happening between the fall and spring across the province. A number of factors go into bridge reconstruction, including overall usage and vehicle sizes.
We look at the traffic counts, we look at their use, and we try and size them accordingly. A lot of our smaller bridges were built back in the day when everything was smaller, so we do have increased sizes that we're going on that there. At the end of the day, cost comes into it as well. And it's a matter of balancing it all.
So we're going to start with this.
Solid ice under bridges is a convenience for builders, making it one of the reasons why the work is done during the winter. Well, Saskatoon is looking across the Atlantic for ideas on transit safety. 2 members of the police service are heading overseas to study how London police one of the world's busiest public transit systems, the Tube. But as CTV's Laura Woodward reports, the total cost of the trip remains unclear.
We're talking London, Ontario?
No.
London, England.
Talking London, England.
London, England, home to one of the world's busiest public transit systems. 2 Saskatoon police officers will travel here in the coming weeks to study how transit is policed.
They have established protocols, policies, procedures, and they have a very similar foundation to what we are seeking to achieve.
The trip comes as Saskatoon police work towards launching a dedicated transit safety unit, following a rise in violent incidents on buses and at terminals. Police have budgeted $600,000 for transit safety in 2026, rising to $1 million the following year. A police spokesperson says the service will not disclose the total cost of the trip and training. But the chief says traveling to London won't cost much more than going to a Canadian city.
Some people wonder, well, can't you just go to Toronto? Can't you just go to Montreal or Vancouver? They have established robust transit systems as well. But what we know is that the citizens of Saskatoon deserve the best model and the best transit policing program that we can provide. The cost differential from going to London to going to Montreal, say, is almost negligible. And so why would we not set us up for the best opportunity at success?
The transit safety unit is expected to roll out in 2027 with 8 officers and 1 supervisor. The police chief says the unit will go beyond just putting cops on buses and instead focus on high crime routes and individuals that repeatedly cause problems on board. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
All right, let's take a look at those farm markets. Canola street price is down $5.50 to $598.73. Missed the last one. Amber Durum wheat, $274.92 per ton for that. And red spring wheat is up 32 cents to $256.12 per ton. Feed barley stays the same, $213.59 per ton, while flax also no movement, $650.54 per ton. As for those market boards, well, the TSX dropped by 159 points, while the Dow Jones climbed slightly by 55 points. Canadian dollar jumped up again. It went up a little more than 0.3 cents. It's now over 74 cents U.S. It's 74.09 cents U.S. As for commodities, gold was up 37 cents. West Texas Intermediate crude up at $2.09. And Western Canadian Select crude went up again. It's up $1.49 today. So is that impacting your gas prices? Not yet. Currently at most places, if not all, you can find gas in Regina for $1.21.09 per liter.
Canada's trade deficit widened to $2.2 billion in November. It was under $400 million in October. Total exports were down 2.8%, with a big drop-off of unwrought gold shipments to the UK, the US, and Hong Kong. Exports of vehicles and parts also dropped, reaching their lowest point in 3 years. A shortage of semiconductors is impacting vehicle production in Canada. Apple's iPhone 17 is crushing it. The company's revenue in its latest quarter, that included Christmas, jumped to a record of almost $144 billion US. A big chunk of that is coming from iPhone sales. The CEO, Tim Cook, calls the demand simply staggering. Profits are up at Rogers Communications thanks to the Toronto Blue Jays. Their playoff run that landed the team in the World Series helped push Rogers' fourth quarter profit to $743 million, almost $200 million more than the same quarter in 2024. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we have Next Level Chef at 7 o'clock, followed by 911 Nashville, Grey's Anatomy at 9 o'clock. Then George and Mandy's First Marriage will kick off the 10 o'clock hour, 10:30 E-Talk. And then we've got our local news, 11 o'clock national and 11:30 local news with... Is it you, Connor?
Yep.
Donovan? All right.
It's me. It's me. It was
still
got a pace today.
Still got to get you to do news as well. The Globe Theatre in Regina is set to bring a well-known Disney animated film to the main stage.
A cast of 16 actors will bring the much-loved story of Frozen to the Globe Theatre. Months of planning and rehearsals will accumulate in opening night on Friday. Behind the scenes, dozens of creative and technical staff will bring the magic of Disney to the Globe's theatre in the round. Characters that are portrayed as puppets in the Broadway musical will be played by human actors with the help of creative magic behind the scenes. One Regina-born and raised actor is having his Globe Theatre debut tomorrow.
For the movie, it's everything you know and love, plus even more songs. There's a beautiful story to it that resonates across relationships, across families. It's a show about sisters, but it's about so much more than that. It's how everyone interacts as humans.
The chilly story of Elsa and Anna have been warmly received in Regina. Ticket sales for Frozen have been brisk, and the production has already been extended twice. I thought it was going to be Let It Go right away. I can't tell if that was part of it or if that's another song from the movie.
Just very high notes, that's all I know.
Can you hit those or not?
Absolutely not. Cole can, no, I believe.
I'd like to see that. Yeah. I think he can.
Maybe when he gets back.
Well, getting mental health support can be overwhelming, but one event brought resources, connections, and hope all at one place.
Regina's More Joy event returned to the Connexus Arts Center last night. It provides a one-stop hub for mental health support, resources, and connection. Guests got the chance to talk to many different professionals, as well as a chance to hang out with therapy dogs and experience a puppy room. Wouldn't we all want to experience that? Local voices, including TSN's Britt Dort, shared their mental health journey at the event. More Joy Regina looks to provide support, connection, and community all in one night.
Connection is what really heals. Whether that's, petting a dog, reaching out to a psychologist or psychiatrist, therapist, or a friend, or connecting with somebody at like an event in one of our booths. The need is even greater after COVID, and it kind of remained because we remained in our shells. So this is all about connection.
I think mental health, we know as years go on, people aren't as afraid to talk about it anymore. And I think it just shows that people want to come out to events like this and want to hear people's stories and make sure that it's relatable and that they're not alone in those situations.
Organizers say the goal is simple: make sure no one feels alone when it comes to their mental health, which of course is always very important.
Absolutely, and especially when you have dogs to pet and kind of ease the tension.
Dogs are great therapy for sure, whether they're puppies or just therapeutic dogs, definitely. Yeah. Even my own dog is therapeutic when she doesn't hate me.
We might need one here in the studio, don't you think?
We have somebody that's allergic. We were gonna have a studio dog, and just didn't work out. Have a good one.